tēnā mai anō tātou, kua huri mai anō tātou ki roto ki Hawaikirangi. Ko te ingoa tonu tēnā ki tēnei o ngā whakaaturanga, tēnei o ngā hōtaka pēne, hōtaka puoro, me ki oro ki ingi mangu. E kōrero hia kenei, e prei hia, e whakatatangi hia, e tētahi o ngā pēne nei, oro ki ingi mangu nei, o roto o Wairarapa ki Tararua, a me ki o roto o te tahi hauauru au kati ki roto ki Aotearoa, Hawaii ki tau te tiritiri o te moana. Tēnā nau mai haere, hoki mai, nau hoki mai, nau hoki mai, nau hoki mai. Ko tēnei āhau, Kaea Matiaha, te aro hatai, te rangi pū a tāta, te whakamihi kau atu, te whakatau atu ki a tātou. E tātou mā, kua huri ake mai nei, i roto i, ko tawa wātonu rāno, te hawhe mai, te haurua mai, i te toru, tēnei o ngā wā i ngā rāpare, ka kā mai anō ai te hōtaka Hawaikirangi, ko te ingoa tonu tēnā o te whakaaturanga, hoi anō te pēne, tōna ingoa kua tīni nā iana, kua putake, hai ingoa pēne, pakihi, hai ingoa pēne, whaimuni, whai mana whakatairangi ki roto ki te ao puoro. Hai tā mātou. Ka tino tika tonu te rātu āhuatanga ki roto Aotearoa, Hawaii ki tau te tiritiri o te moana. Hoi anō te ao katoa. Kai tōna wā no tērā. Hoi anō te tūmanako me te tikanga, te āhua nei. Ka tino whai tikanga tonu tērā kōrero. Ka tino tēnei ingoa hou, hai ingoa Pākihi, hai ingoa whaimana tonu, whakatairangi ki roto ki te ao pūoro kai te ao katoa. E no reira rā e tātou, ka hore he māharahara ki e rātu āhuatanga i roto i te pēne ki roto ki tēnei wā tonu nei. No reira nau hoki mai, nau hara mai, tēnei te mihi atu nei, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia tuku atu e āhau te paku inoi, te paku whakamoe miti tonu anō ki tō tātou ko au ariki atu ki aia, te tau tiaki, te tau manaaki ana nei. Kia tātou i roto i ngā tū āhuatanga katoa. Me ko āhau. Kua tau ake mai nei ki te taupuni pāho, ki te taupuni tiku kōrero, te taumata me ki, taumata kōrero, a tahu mākahaka nui matua hapu nui tonu i roto i tēnei wā, ki roto ki te pēne nei. Hei ngā kōrero, me ngā kawenga, me ngā kaiwaiwaetanga, a te pēne nei, a te pēne oro ki ingi mangu nei. Ki roto ki tēnei wā. No reira rā, e taku ariki atua, te iehua, ko tēnei āhau a Kaea, kua hoki ake mai anō nei, me taku pēne, tā mātou, me tā tāiwa nō pēne, kua karangahia nei e koe, kua tūruki atu nei e koe. Ko koe i anō e ārahirahi nei, e tautiaki nei, e taumanaki atu nei roto anō i a mātau. Tai atu anō ki te kai whakarongo, te pou whakarongo, tai atu anō ki te pou mātakitaki. Kia Wairarapa whakāta. I nei tāngata katoa o mātau e taku ariki atua. Me ki e taumanaki atu nei e koe. E mea ana nei kia tau atu anō i o manakitanga. I o taumanakitanga. Tai atu anō hoki ki tō rongo mau. I ngā wā katoa ai te ao, ai te pō. Tēnei te whakanui. Tēnei te whakatau. Tēnei te whakamue miti. Te whakawhetai. Kia koe ki roto ki tēnei wā nā mātau. Ki roto ki tō ingoa matahi apu anō. Āmene. Te ariki atu ia. Tariki atu ia. Ara kera i te mate te ariki atu ia. Hora nukura papa. Whaki a katoa toa. Te iehua te karaiti te ariki atua. Mene. Tēnei ka mihi, tēnei ka whakatau ki atu. Te tini maunga ki tararua, te tini maunga ki ruahine. Ko tahu mā ka nui matua te tūake nei. Ko tahu mā ka nui matua ki roto ki te tai hawauru au kati, ki roto ki te tai rāwhiti au kati. Tai atu anō hoki ki ngā maunga. Te tini maunga tūake mai ki roto te tai toke rau au kati. Ki roto anō ki te tai tonga au kati kei reira o mātau. Te ina o te katoa o mātau i ngā uri hapu. Me ki ngā uri hapu whakaike o roto i a mātau. Puta atu i te moti, puta atu i ngā au kati e whāne ngā au kati tai. Kia whakanui atu anō rā i a koutou e whakarongo ana maina ki tēnei o ngā kupu, tēnei o ngā whakatau ki. Kai te mihi, kai te mihi, kai te mihi atu. Ki tēnei o ngā rā me ki ko te rā o te ngahuru mārima, te ngahuru mārima o ngā rā o te marama tua ngahuru. O te tau nei o te rua mano rua ngahuru. No reira, nau mai haere, nau mai haere, nau mai haere. Ai, kia ora. Yes, Kaea back again. We're back with Hawaikirangi, and the show is going to keep its original name, the original name of Hawaikirangi, because straight away it, it officially refers, it brings us close with our whenua, our wenua, te rohe wenua nei o tahu mā ka nui matua ki roto ki te tai hawauru au kati tai. We could sing about the whole of the rohe wenua of tahu mā ka nui matua in the whole four, but that's too big a kaupapa, and actually this kaupapa is huge. It's huge. To cover this whole kaupapa, we'd have to go world, and we haven't even decided that yet. We're just looking at the steps to becoming a New Zealand household name, and a band that's earned its right as a reggae band of New Zealand. Who knows what lies in the future. There's so many possibilities, so many different things we can do, and I'm just showing you a few of those things. We're not even going to touch those on all of those things. We're just touching on some of them, and the reason for that is because we could do anything. The band could do anything. The band could be playing reggae that's similar to Jerusalem. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds, but we know the componentry that we have. Aroha mai. And we know very, very well the skills that we have, the skills base, and we also know exactly the knowledge base that we have to draw from in terms of bringing the band to the audience rather than the audience to the band. Now, we have some live acts, live gigs coming up very, very soon. Just before I broadcast that, those gigs, one at the Tin Hut, one at, I'm about to confirm the date for that as soon as the Tin Hut rings back. Rod, the guy from there, who's going to ring back, and I need to keep in touch with Stefan for Gladstone, and also I forget the lady at Citizens and Services who is managing our third gig, which is there. And so it should be good, should be interesting, and we're going to have a look at those gigs and also play you some, because they're regular gigs, they're not just one-offs. And so, we're going to play you some of our stuff from there, just showcase some of the material. We're going to play some of our originals, and all of our originals are copyrighted anyway, so we can do what we like with them. The only thing is that we haven't recorded them yet. So, the music world is so open out now, it doesn't really matter. It's so open wide, everything's open wide out in the open. Like you can just look on YouTube and you'll find, eventually all of our music on there without even buying it. But what we will try to do is get recordings and copies and manufactured copies and produced copies of our songs, recorded to the best of what we know can come from those recordings and songs, before we actually get them onto fully copied onto places like YouTube and iTunes and all those sorts of things, Shopify, all those sorts of platforms, plus our own web pages. We've got web pages and that going up. So there's those gigs. Also, what was I gonna say? What was I going to talk about there? Today we are still responding to those two pātai. I don't think Calvin's going to end up coming in today, and I still haven't heard from Nilos. So, I don't know what's happening with Nilos, and Rarauia hasn't even got back yet. And so we are going to, and they were just the ones we were going to start off with, because there's a few here that are Wairarapa ones, and a few that I know I can pick on to come in with me. I'm okay though, because I get time off work to come in here. I get time and can actually, in a sense, include the show as part of my work. So it's really cool with Tūtahu Trust, Tahu Investments Limited, our Pūtea Muni Tautoko, helping us with broadcasting and promotions and stuff like that, advertising, marketing our products like this band. Now, first things first, our name. Yes, we ended up changing our name and making it more suitable for the business and the music industry. And the matter of the music industry, and we've called it Tahu. Tahu with a capital T with a cross that is a lowercase t as well. So a lowercase t and capital T all in one. Now Tahu is short for Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua. So it's still associates and relates to the first name, Hawaikirangi, which is the name of the show. So we'll leave that the name of the show, which reflects how we feel about and what we, us thinking about our homeland and sharing those emotions about our homeland and the different issues that have arisen over the centuries, over the years, even over times before the Crown. There were lots of different take going on, lots of different things happening in the motu. They just didn't happen so often. So it's quite a different kettle of fish now, where everything's always happening. There's always something political going on. In fact, ever since probably 1840, it's been nothing but devastating for everybody. So, a lot to share. It's no wonder we chose reggae. So Tahu is our name, the name of our band, and so that's your first meaning of the name, Tahu Maka Kanui Matua. So, our rohe wenua within Te Tai Hawauru Aukati is in particular of importance and of significance to the band, Tahu. And so we're going to do the same thing as what Hawaikirangi, that implies that we're going to do the same thing and we're associated with the same thing. We're going to share our thoughts and feelings on different issues, on different events that paved the way and that made our regions what they are today, basically. And they're ever evolving, ever changing. And at the moment, they're still they're on a wave to evolving back to the traditional, which is not kahunu rangitane. The traditional is not that. Tutu is not that. And like the kupu that I shared with you, tini maunga ki tararua, tini maunga ki ruahine, tini maunga ki ngā aukatitai, ko tahu mā ka nui matua, hapu nui tonu, te tū maini. Like the many mountains in our tribe exemplify paramountcy, exemplify ariki, and ariki of the highest order. And ariki of the highest order, we have many of them. We're one of the few tribes in the Mutu. There's probably only about how many hapu nui tonu in the Mutu? Probably only about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Might be about 5 or 6. Could be 7. I actually haven't counted that. But Tahu Maka Kanui Matua is one of the most senior ones. And so we're hapu nui tonu, or of the greatest extent of what a super tribal entity could be in terms of expanded, in terms of the greatest extent of what, and the expanse to according to the greatest expanse one can become. And that is one, a super tribal entity, or a hapu super tribal entity, of many hapu super tribal entity. And we happen to have one, a hapu that is made up of one of the most super tribal entities in the country. And it's no wonder we have, because we're one of the most senior. We're from Te Awa. We're the only hapu nui tonu from Te Awa. Within our, as part of the most senior lines of the central lines of Moai Hapu. So, that's a little bit about the name, and without going on too much about that. So the many mountains and mountain peaks of Tararua and of Ruahine and of all our many mountains within the 4 divisions of the country that we have rohe wenua, that we have land regions within. So they symbolic, and so is the emphasis of all of the ariki of the highest order from within Tahu Maka Kanui Matua. So, that's the whakatauki And also it's a pepeha, not just a whakatauki, but it's also a pepeha. And that pertains to Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua. Just going on a little bit there about the name Tahu, our new name. And it's a cool name because with a lowercase t, it has other meanings. So a tahu is also a darling or a sweetheart. And yeah, we're pretty much darlings and sweethearts. You know, all the guys and even the girls within the group. There's not many girls, but at least we got some. And it's hard to get girls. I think at the times that we use kapahaka or choirs or different singing groups to back us, which is what we're going to be doing a lot of, or dance groups to back us. What we will do is make sure we utilise as many of the women folk as possible within those little groups to emphasise the importance of our wahine, that we're not just a band that likes mostly males around us, because we don't. And of course we all are sweethearts, and I think most of us have got someone we're either in love with or we're not. But we're all real sweethearts and darlings, so that suits us too. And tahu with the lowercase t also means something else. Sizzling hot. Yeah, sizzling hot. We have a word in Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua called te wāhitahu. Te wāhitahu. If you watch, what's that program on? There's a Kaitime program, I te wāhitau kairā. Whatever that word is, there's a Kai program anyway. Well, te wāhitahu is the same sort of meaning as that word is. It is the cookhouse, the cooking house. But in particular, in Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua, it's te tahu o te mīti. Okay, te tahu o te mīti. Tahu also means sizzling hot, to sizzle them and singe them and brown them. To brown, kai? Yeah, to singe and sizzle. And so sizzling hot, I mean, that's just me on my own. Nah. Waihoatu pēr I tērā o ngā kōrero kia koutou mā koutou no tērā hei wawawat. But we've I was hoping to get a few in today, but it doesn't look like I'm going to get many in today. Hopefully someone comes in. Let's hope someone comes in, or either one of those two that didn't get back yet, and comes and joins us. And it's cool having some kōrero from others rather than just me all the time. So, and if people, sometimes I think people just want to, target me because they want everything I've got. Well, that's not possible. You'll never get everything I've got. So, because everything I've got is tahu, if you're not tahu, you'll never get that. And if it's not rightfully yours, then you'll never have it. See? So, and that's some of our, Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua problems we have with tūhoi, because they tend to work things like that. They try and isolate people so that they can target you for what they want. Well, tūhoi has to learn that there are some things that they just can't have. And that they're not rightfully, of right to. And rightfully so, because tūhoi and awa, they are teina to Tahu Mākaka Nui Matua. They've got to learn their place in the motu, They've got to learn their place. No one said to them, no one said to tūhoi or awa to refuse moai hapu. As soon as they started to refuse or not work with moai hapu, that's when they, they disregarded their rightful place. And because tahu got established, got quickly established and well known in the country. Hello, next minute awa and tūhoi is moaning because, te mea. Well, tūreiti, tūreiti. Oh, that's all I can say. If the horse is already bolted, well, qua mea atu I tērā, qua tutuki ke tērā. I do believe that in answering our tūpātai today, we are going to have a look at a couple of our songs. So we'll just have a look at the structure and the form of a couple of our songs. I want to do Hey, and I'm going to do a little bit on Hey, but I have to be careful with Hey, because even though it's copyrighted, I've already got that copyrighted, it's copyrighted to two people. Now, for one of those people, I have to still get her consent to be able to record and use the song and rehearse the song. So that's why I was a little bit careful with how I was using it last week. But it's a very interesting song, and it's one of the better ones. One of the better ones of our songs, apart from Reggae in Your Reggae. Reggae in Your Reggae and... that one I just sung, the Himenera, Te Himenera, Te Ariki Atu A Ia. That's a very interesting one too. The one that we did up, the final copy the final product of that song. Just like Hey, a nickname of a person, Once I talk to you a little bit about the details of that song and also the details in Reggae in Your Reggae, then you should come to an even more, a much greater understanding of reggae music by the time I get to the end of those explanations, by the end of the show today. Kai te wha meniti ki te whaonga haurai roto I tēnei rā, te pare ārau. Te pare ārau, te ngahuru mārima o te maramatua ngahuru. Kai te mihi atu e tātou mai, te nara tātou kahuri.
Hori noa, te rā e o ai koe, e kore rereke, toka nohi te kaka. Ai timata, te rā e te tau, ko te aroha ki au, ki a taua uri e.
Ko aroha e kore mutu, kei konei au I ngā wā katoa. Ka taia e tāua tokorua, te hanga, te ara ora, ko koe ko au mea tāua uri e, ko koe ko au poa tāua uri e, a ke tonu e, ko koe ko au. Mai toka no hi, mo te korero ki au, ki a taua uri e. Ka taia e taua tokorua, te momotu te here,
Ma te aroha I ngā rā katoa,
ko te aroha I te pohi te au, ko koe ko au e a tāua uri e, ko koe ko au a tāua uri e, a ke tonu e, ko koe ko au
Ake tonu
ko koe ko au
Tēnā rawara hoki tātou e tātou mā tātou kua huri ake mai, kua hoki ake mai ki roto ki Hawaikirangi kia tahu. Tahu nei, ka tahi anō rā ka whakaite mai i roto i ngā āhuatanga kia mātau i roto te tai hawauru aukati. Ia mātau nei i roto tahu mākaka nui matua hapu nui tonu o roto te awa, o roto te tura te matua, o roto tāwhaki nui ārangi, o roto o moai hapu. Tēnei rā mātau te tau ake nei ki te tau manta kōrero i roto Wairarapa ki tararua ki Wairarapa whakaata. Ki roto anō ki Arrow FM, ko Tūtahu Trust Tahu Investments Limited, te pūtea moni tautoko, ko te wā tahi meniti mai i te whā e tātou mā, kai te whakaronga ke mai rā tātou kia Kaea Matiaha te aroa hatai te rangi pū a tāta o roto i te pēne. Kai whakahaere, kai whakarahi, kai whakamāhia i roto Tūtira Dub, i roto Reggae Music Shop, i roto Tūtahu Trust Tahu Investments Limited. Kai whakamāhia i te oro ki ingi mangu, i roto ia mātau anō aroha mai. E tātou mā. Me tō mātau anō titiro atu, whakamāhia atu, whakarite atu, ahanei i roto i te puoro. E hake ai te mea. Ko ia tēnei noa te puoro whai atu nei rā e mātau. Kāreka, e nui anō no ngā puoro e whai atu ana e mātau hoi anō. Tēnei tō hukuta, te taha ki au nei, te taha ki te oro puoro, te oro ki ingi mangu, e kōrero hia kauake nei roto i tēnei o ngā hōtaka. E tātou mā me taku whai atu, kia whakatakoto atu i ngā tū āhuatanga kia tahu, tēnei o ngā pēne, tahu ki te makau, tahu ki te tunutunu, ki te wera o te tunutunu, ko ia ke hoki rā. Pea kua hau ke anake te pea ke tēnā, kua hau, me te tahu mākaka nui matua. Ko tahu mākaka nui matua ke hoki anō tērā katoa. Ne? Nā, tino tahu anō mātau, pea. Koi anō te ingoa i whakarite ake nei, i whakatūturu tia ake nei e te karaiti kia mātau, ka whakatauri atu nei rā, ka whakauti atu ki roto ki aia, i roto i ana whakaro. Ko te ingoa ke pea tērā kia rātau ki e nei o te pēnene. Koi anō katoa o na whakahaere katoa. Ko aiwa mea anō i roto i te wairua tapu e kōrero hi ake nei. Me te whakahaere. Kai te whakatauria tonu hia tērā tū āhuatanga i roto i a mātau hoi anō. Kai te kaha te haere. Koina te mea nui, kai te kaha te haere. Me tērā o ngā pā nui i maharake ake āhau i roto i mua tonu iho nei, hoi anō kāre anō au i kōrero. Nā ko tērā kōrero, ko ngā tū āhuatanga ki te kaiwaiwai kōrero. Tērā tū o ngā hōtaka o mātau te kaiwaiwai kōrero i ngā āhuatanga katoa ki a tahu mākaka nui matua i ngā kōrero. Ki roto ki ngā tai e whā, ki te motu ngā tai, me ki ngā tai o mua mai, i te hara mai o tauiwi. Ki te motu, no e rāwa, ngā aukati nei, no ngā tūpuna mātua, i takoto ai. No rātau anō, i takoto ai. Whakatau i rahia mai rā e rātau, kia rātau ki o rātau nā anō whakatipuranga. Nā mātau anō, nā moai hapu, nā te awa, i whakahoti anō i roto i te whakaro kia whakahoki ake mai awa aukati. te pai, au aukati. Hei te mea aukati tapu nei, ka rekau i te kokoti, haere nei i a tātou ne. Hoi anō, kai te tino whakairo nei, i ngā ahuatanga ki te taha ki te rāwhiti, i roto i te motu tonu. I roto i te motu tonu. Kai te pai, ngā tino rohe wenua ki au atai. I whakatai wira ake nei e ngā mātua i ngā tūpuna i te wā i a rātau. I te wā i a moa i hapu, i te wā i a moriori, i te wā i a tewa, i te wā i a tahumā kākanui matua, tūturu, i roto i te motu i mua mai te hara mai o tau iwi mā. Te pai, hoi anō e rā kōrero katoa, hai te maramarua. Te maramarua, te mutunga, āhua maramatoru pēr. Tīmata atu anuai, huki mai anuai, tērā o ngā hōtaka a te kai waiwai kōrero. E tātou ma, koe nā tērā te pānuira. Yeah, so that was the little pūrongo I was going to give you just before, and I forgot about that. I went and played pūrua because I was in a hurry to play pūrua because we didn't get to hear all of it last week on Hawaikirangi, and we didn't get to hear the whole song on pūrua, one of Brannigan Carr's Waiata. He's a household name too. Gee, they're all lucky fellas, eh? They all conquered the New Zealand music scene in their genres and in their styles and their ways of singing their jazz and different styles of jazz and all that sort of thing. When we look at the componentry of reggae jazz, tuturu jazz is one of the forms of music that makes up reggae, that makes up, apart from, fused into the one-drop soca, the first one-drop music, into reggae, which its componentry is jazz, R&B, soul, funk, all those sounds. And a mixture of a lot of other African feels in there that are in particular one-droppish, ska, rocksteady, Ijin. That's the style of rocksteady. I remember giving you that strum, I think, in the first show. I think Bob recorded Three Little Birds like that. If you listen to that, you can hear the Ijin, 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 Ijin. Yeah, and I have to apologise for the way I played last week. I was a little bit tired, but I was actually playing like I would at a practice. And damping a lot of the sounds through, so that instruments got to know their timing and where they come in. That's what I do. Sometimes I go, no, you should be here doing this at this particular moment. And that's what we do. And it is a little bit of a long way through things. You can work out shorter ways of doing things, but in doing that, you have to remember you've still got to check back to the damping and the a cappella style guitaring. You've got to always refer back to that in case you forget something. It's not always a sure thing to find shortcuts. Shortcuts are, as you know, are not that well accepted in music, and probably reggae is one of the worst genres for shortcutting. If indeed you use shortcutting, it can be detrimental to your music. So just a sound of warning there, and that's why I use that. It keeps perfect timing. It keeps the touches and the timing of touches and feels in check. Yeah, and I suppose in fact there's a lot going on within the within the rudiments of theory that can help you to get a lot of that. I already know that. But even the rudiments don't account for every touch and every feel of the song, of a song in reggae. Like, for instance, most theory musicians that I've heard play the song jamming, you know, it always comes out quite different. The more they copy it, the worse it gets. See? Because they don't understand. They've got to have a better understanding of the music before they actually start to copy it, to actually get it. Yeah, and so today we're going to look at Hey, and we're going to look at reggae in your reggae, and that should give you an even better understanding of the music and help you to be able to play good reggae music. That's those two questions there. How can I get a better understanding of the music? Because that's what's lacking, really. Yeah, there's a lot of timing that's out, but also, you know, a lot of bands, they get about a third of the way through a song. Sometimes they're playing a really choice rhythm of reggae. Like sometimes I've heard a pure being used, like, hey, who's that band? I turn it up. They get a third of the way through the song and then they lose it, you know? You've got to be able to control it all the way through. It takes a lot of discipline playing reggae. Discipline is probably your key word from start to finish. You know, absolute discipline with reggae. And it doesn't matter how good your theory is. I guarantee you your reggae would never come up perfect if you just depended on theory notions of the music. I still argue with theory musicians that, and I use a lot of theory musicians and some top ones with my music, but I argue with them, and I would argue that you cannot play perfect reggae if you are going to focus totally on just the theory of the music. Because the more, let me go back to Bob's words. It's not copy, do it. It can be copy, you know. That's exactly what he says, you know. It can be copy, you know, but it's not copy, do it. It's the feel. It carry I feel. Remember that? Remember that quote of Bob Marley, 1979, 1980, I think. And absolutely encapsulates the music, absolutely captures the music right there in a nutshell. And the more theory musicians try to copy their music through their theory abilities and their academia, the more conscious they get of what they're playing and the worse their reggae gets. Reggae is a music you've got to be able to not be conscious of. You've got to be able to play it like a natural thing. Just like naturally I was damping with you last week. Now, to our practice, and to me it sounds fine, but to any other musician who has theory out there, they'll probably all block their ears. That's why I apologise for that. But any of my musicians that I jam with or practice with, because they have a greater understanding of the music, they don't care, they love it. They love my damping. And I've had audiences that I just kept damping with them. I just kept playing like I would do in a practice when I did shows with them, and they absolutely fell in love with my music. You know why? Because the timing was perfect. They didn't care about anything else. They loved how the songs felt and sounded. They were complete. They were comprehensively brought together. They were authentic. They were soulful. You know, that soul in reggae music you've got to be able to control, and Tahu does all of that. Tahu regulates the soul, Tahu can sustain it, Tahu can do all sorts of things with it. You know, and you can do all sorts of things with the drop as well. It doesn't have to drop fully straight away. Yeah, you can keep that dropping slowly. Yeah, you can do all those sorts of things. You know, all those sorts of things I can do. I have funk strums. I have signature funk. I have, and they're all pure strums. Yeah, you remember what I call the pure? I call that the reggae proper strum. Ichik. I have ways I can, I use my wrist to change the feel of those particular strums. I do all sorts of things with different rhythms, and things like that. So we'll skip along. We'll get on with that, and we'll move forward with our show. But I needed to bring to you that little pānui there about Te Kai Waiwai Kōrero. That's coming back in February, March next year. And that'll be back with us in 2021 for the full year, in line with our course of Te Reo Matua, our program that prepares you for Te Kura i Awarua, our whare wānanga that we're starting to build within the Greytown area, and that's going to look to expand right through southern Wairarapa. The first of its kind, which will have 5 other locations in the Mutu, in our land regions as well, that we will establish in those regions regionally, personalised to their regions, etc., etc., within the tahumaka kanui matua within those regions. So look, what's unique about Te Tai Hawauru Aukati? Well, you'll get to know. It's in some of our songs. It's in how we use our reo. In Te Tai Hawauru, we're particularly ariki. You know, the ariki is here. The ariki matua, the top ariki, te ariki mataura. In other places, they tai opuru and everything like that is all within an ariki mataura. The ahurewa tapu is all within a nariki mataura. The tumu whakarai, same thing. Same things, all within a nariki mataura. So we hold that in Te Tai Hawauru Aukati of ngā rohe wenua of Tahumaka Kanui Matua. We hold all of that. And the most senior of the entirety of our hapu, of many mountains. Yeah, of many mountains. Mountains in our iwi, in our hapu nui tonu signify the most prestigious of paramounts, and we have 12 to 13 of some of the most prestigious paramounts, and we've got many. So ngā tini maunga ki tararua, kai te mihi atu, ngā tini maunga ki te ruahine, kai te mihi atu anō, tai atu hoki ki ngā tai e whā ki roto ki ngā aukati o reira tai, kai te mihi atu, i aua maunga rānō, tū mai ai, hai tohu atu, maunga whakahi tonu, maunga ariki mataura, ki roto ki a tahumaka kanui matua, kai te mihi atu, tēnā tātou, kahuri.
Moe toa, moe moe ara.
Tēnā rawa rā tātou I te ruangahuru, mātahi mēniti mai I te whā. Kāre koa pia e tahi te hara mai, katahi anō me kaere kia hara mai ki te āihu I āhau, ki te whakamihi atu anō I āhau, ki tana hoki ngātu ki te kāinga, kua mutu atu aia I roto I te wānei. A mi kaere, kai te hoki, nā reira āhau whakamihi karu atu anō, me taku whakaaro atu, aku kai kōrero ke, e rā, kāre anō I whakao ake mai yaku tātai kōrero, tātai karere, kāre anō rātau kia whakao atu ai. E tāma, kaitipai pia tērā, kia oti atu pia hau I tēnei wāhi o te kōrero I roto I tēnei wā o ngā kōrero ki roto ki tēnei o ngā āhuatanga kōrero e tā mai. Kāre kau I te iti, kāre kau I te hapā mātau ki ngā tū āhuatanga whakatakoto ai, whakatauira mai ai I te oro ki ingi mangu nei. Te oro ki ingi mangu nei. Nā rira ki te titiro atu tātou kuau kia hei I roto I nei tū āhuatanga kia tino tika taku whakatatangi atu I te waiata nei. I roto I tēnei wā, te hei nei, waiata aroha, waiata whakaipotonu, waiata, kai roto I te wā o te whakaipotonu, I te wahine nei e te tāne nei. Te tāne nei I maru manawa nei. I maru manawa nei. Nā reira kai te puta atu tēnei waiata kua puta atu I roto I āia. I pākaru atu ai, I tana ngākau, I tana tangi tonu te tangata nei, te tāne mārina tonu nei, te tāngata nei. Kare anō I mārina, kai te ipotonu, hoi anō, kai te, kua whakarite kē kia mārina. Te tokorua nei, kāti. Te tāne nei, te tāne mārena nei ka pākaru I te waiata nei. Ngā roi mata tere tonu, karekau e whai utinga, te āhua nei, te hanga nei o te roi mata hinga atu, maringi atu, maringi noa, tere haere tonu ai. Kai te pai? So, with he, you've got, this wonderful love song, still at the time of courtship, this love song, and they were fiancés. See, they were fiancés. So that's how, it's quite a deep, meaningful song, even though it's got a sort of a humorous ring to it, this song. And it shouldn't have had drumming at the beginning. Let me just do a little bit of light damping in there. See? So remember last week I was telling you we were still doing finishing touches to that song. Well, one of those finishing touches is whether to have a secured bass line on the drums and just to top it. And a bass drum and snare drum going in and out, rim shot going in and out. So have that but sometimes going in and out, and a ring shot like that. And it'll have a few reggae drums in there, reggae toms, boo-boo, you know, boo-boo, 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 like that sometimes. Yeah, I just got a little light tip in there, and I want to keep that in there because that'll give you the timing of it'll give you the timing of the top hat and the drums, and also the timing of the changes of each of the chords and the notes of the ska rhythm. Okay. Now, I'd rather have other people here when I'm playing rhythms like that, because then I don't have to worry about damping. I don't have to worry about the other sounds. I don't have to worry about my timing. I don't have to worry about, the riskiness of playing the music in here where there are high pickups everywhere. And I don't have to worry about that whilst playing the actual music on my own. But that's with others, playing their part, and me playing just the. See, I wouldn't need to do any damping or anything like that because I wouldn't need it, because everyone else would be doing their part. And that's reggae in a nutshell. That's I feel. When Bob says that carry I feel, when every instrument or every part or every voice is doing their part correctly from start to finish in the song, if they have that down to the 110%, then that is the creation of I feel. See? That is the creation of I feel. And that's how reggae works. When you listen to an instrument on its own, it sounds dull, boring, useless. I shouldn't have said that. It's not really useless, but it just sounds so isolated. And so there's like, if you don't understand what's happening, see, look, if I just play that. It sounds like nothing really. It doesn't even sound like a part of a ska rhythm. It doesn't even sound like reggae. It just sounds like quick space music, quick space guitar strum music. That's about it. Quick space. And that's all it would be. But as soon as you put all the other instruments together with it, with what they need to do, like the colouring with the yeah. So, and last week I wanted to illustrate to you how that song went from one extreme to the other, and it went through about 7 changes from here. Oh, has that gone flat? I can't be bothered tuning this up here. It's not too bad. That's not too bad. So how it went from so we Even by that stage, the song, no one would even know it was a reggae song. But it is. It is. And so it went through about another 7 changes. Another 7 different changes before we got it to here. Well, I did. Before I got it to ska. Once I wanted to start to interpret the actual true feelings for the woman. And I found that was far more appealing for the song and far more suitable in terms that even though there was heartbreak for the male, and even though it was a very difficult time, and the male would never have known he was heartbroken until tears just, flowed from his eyes just one moment after, being flung into, when 2 people separate. There was just a blatant separation. There was very few words from the woman. And those sorts of things come into play in the words, which is why what I wanted to do with the music in the end was not be too serious about the words, even though there's so much meaning, so much depth in those words, so much, they were defining moments, everything that happened. But what meant most to the male is that that the feelings for the women were true. For the woman was true. We're all true. And that he knew that the feelings of the woman for him were also all true. And to be, was awfully painful. So to be a fiancé and to be dumped, that's a very, very harsh thing to go through, very, very difficult. It's harsh at 5 meters away, but this guy was like quite a distance away. So already at a distance, he's like getting dumped. So like he was being flung into further, like into oblivion. It was like oblivion to him. That was it. It was over. He was like cast out into outer space almost. That's how it felt for him. Really flung out afar, even though he was already afar from her. See? So, and that's the first line. Momotu tonu ki tawhiti au ikone. As a result of the separation, as a result of everything, as a consequence of everything that happened, he felt flung into, into isolation, into desperation, into oblivion. That's how he felt. Momotu tonu ki tawhiti nei au ikone. Hei tikupu noho o rero nui tonu e. I had forgotten the words last week, but that line is one of the changes that came into the song, and about the 4th change after I got it to. And I'm just sharing with you some of the strategies that we can use as reggae artists with compositions. And it'll help you to understand the reggae. In particular, you need to focus on the feel and the particular topic, the main purpose of the song, what's carrying the song and the feel in the song is particularly important. And how you carry that in the music, how you manipulate that with the music and regulate that. Keeping control of it from start to finish. You can't do a song a third of the way through quite well and then just throw it. There's a lot of songs out there today. I've heard reggae bands do. I won't name any. They get through a song a third of the way, boom, it's gone. They just lose it. They lose all sense of the reggae. And that's because they don't really understand it. Reggae is not for the copying, let me put it that way. Reggae is for the originating, reggae was brought about by originators. It was original music, as it always has been. It always has been an original music, and to master it, you have to be an originator too, or a creator, one that can take this music and create it in your own way, which is exactly what Tahu is doing, what we are doing as a band. So, but yeah. Yeah, so the line is, Hei tikupu noho, you're a woman of so few words, She uses very little words. She normally doesn't have much to say. So at this particular time, it's over. That's all she said, and boom, it was all over. That said everything to him. Hei tikupu noho e. So it's comma e comma. Enui kōrero tonui. And, but also, it said so much, everything that she could have possibly have said, she summed it up in that very few words. It's all over. Get lost, she might as well have said. He was really hurt. And like I said at the beginning there, the tears just flow. He couldn't stop them. He didn't even know where those tears were coming from. That's how bad this event is. It's funny how you can have a really sad event like that, and at te Torungahuru Māwaru Meniti mai I te whā. I'll try and make this quick. Actually, no, we'll leave the other song. We'll leave Reggae in Your Reggae because that's a bit complicated to explain. So I'll just do this one, and then we'll look to slowly wind up for the day because, I'd want to be out of here, especially by at least Tuangahuru Meniti ki te rima. So we'll look at this waiata in particular, and it went through several changes, and it can change from some. I even know the song. Anyone into Splitines? If you're into Splitines, I quite like Splitines. I thought they were really cool when I was young, and they have a song called "I See Red, I See Red, I See Red." Something. I see you walking up the street, I see red, Well, that started off like that. I see red, I see red, I see red. And then it ended up a really quick song with a real jazzy, I don't know why. But perhaps it's got the same sort of tone about it, Perhaps it's a song with the same sort of tone. But the reason I'm trying to emphasize that sort of thing with reggae songs, because reggae is a music that we don't ever think that happens. That's why. That's why I want to emphasize it with this song. That sort of change can happen. It went through several changes and it went... And it's quite quick. Mama tito nuki tafiti ne yawi kone. Hei tikupu no ho e nui korero no nui korero tonu e. Toho kiri kakapa no ake ano hoki e Maro no ano au e Numi numi ka no ake hoki e Numi numi ka no ake hoki e Numi ka no ake hoki e Numi ka no ake hoki e waitiri, waitiri, waitiri nei e. Whatu kamo e. Whatu kamo nei e. A part of the rap part in that song. So it's waitiri, wairere, waitiri, wairere, waitiri nei e. Whatu kamo e. Ano nā hoki mutu ko re. Ano nā hoki mutu ko re. Ano nā hoki mutu ko re. And there's the change in strum there. It's a pure on the ska. See, it's a pure on the ska, and there's also a split. So there's a, like that. So it's ichik, ichik. So it's a, ichik, 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 ichik. That's one of the final, one of the finishing touches I'll put on that. Also, numi numi kau noa ke hoki e is a part that isn't sung, you know, on its own, but I'm just doing it like that because I can't do both parts on my own. I need someone else to do that with me. And the rapping goes over the top, so the wairere, waitiri, wairere, waitiri nei e. Whatu kamo e. Whatu kamo nei e. Waitiri, wairere, waitiri, wairere, waitiri, wairere, waitiri nei e. Ano nā hoki mutu ko re. Mutu ko re, nā hoki mutu ko re. Yeah, 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 yeah. And just quickly, I'll give you one of the finishing touches of the, that's a finishing touch, that lead-in colouring to the verses. So that's a lead-in to a colouring or a shading going into the verses. And there's also a shading, a colouring while you're in the verses that goes. Another finishing touch is this one. So the brass section, then the whole brass section, the trumpet, sax, and trombone. Aroha mai, if I do slight little mistakes while I'm doing that on my own, it's because it's hard to focus on everything on my own. If I had other people with me, we'd all be able to play it quite well and correctly. So I'm trying to do everything all at once. So beep 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 beep. So that's how that through the verses. Beep 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 beep. Oh, sorry. Beep 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 beep. Oh, beep 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 beep. So there's two different lots of colouring in there, and one stops there and it goes quiet, from quiet to loud. So it goes beep 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 beep. So that's the second one. The second one goes straight away. It goes loud. And that's on those parts of the. I'll just do the first verse so we can finish that off. And the first verse goes, Momotu tonu ki tawhiti nei au I konei. You know, I was already far from you, and then immediately I felt like, you know, flung even further. You know, it was like immediately, you know. Hei te kupu noho. You're a woman of so few words. So that's the next sentence. So it's hei te kupu noho nui kōrero tonui. So, yeah, you know, but also, you know, in those few words, I know you. That the few words that you did give me, you tell me everything. So it said it all. It said it all, you know. And she was a woman like that. But you know what? This tāne would rather focus on the, you know, and it could be argued that for any song, you know, it's you've got to have the reo. You know, when you do a song in the reo, you've got to have the reo in its at its utmost in order to write a good song. And that's not really true. You've got to know the music first. See, you've got to understand the music first. So I'm not saying go out and write reo songs. If you haven't got the reo, don't do it. Write it in English. But make sure you got that music down first. You know, get the music down. And yeah, get those colourings in there and have changes. You know, don't and it really, yeah, you can see what the music's doing. It's doing very well to translate and interpret all the feelings and moods in the song. Yeah, it's looking to encapsulate all of that. So in those few words that say so much, I tō hou kiri kakapanoa ke ano hoki e. You know, I've seen that so very often in the way you move, you know, the way you move your head, the way she moves her eyes, you know, her little looks, you know. A beautiful woman has a certain way of holding herself, eh? And this woman, you know, beautiful, spiritually beautiful, intellectually beautiful, within her heart, you know, all those beautiful things. And then she had this way of holding herself. You know, it's so beautiful to watch. You know, I saw the same thing in the way you move. You know, the way you hold yourself, the way you know, she put her hands together like this, you know. So rather than say all of that, that's how the words were put. I tō kiri kakapa noa ke ano hoki e. Tō kiri, you know, no one sits still, you know, so he kiri kakapa te kiri. Ngaro noa noa ue. So this tāne mārena would actually rather think about those things rather than what was going on. So if you look at the words of this song, he's saying right from the beginning, Momotu kauatu ki tawhiti nei au I konei, and then he te kupu noho. From there, you know, he actually goes into oblivion. He goes within himself, into his mind, into his heart. And he goes, he te kupu noho, e nui kōrero tonu e, I tō hou kiri kakapa noa ke ano hoki e, ngaro noa noa ue. You know, I used to get lost in every move she, you know, that you made. This is what he's saying to the world. You know, I'd always get lost every time she met. You know, it touched me so much. You know, it's so precious to this man every time she, you know, wherever she looked, when she blew him a kiss. You know, all those sorts of things, hey. Tāhua e nei, tūāhuatanga I te wahinene. So you've got to capture all those things in your music, tuatahi. If you can't do it in the reo, then do it in English. We're lucky. We have te reo tutu. We have one of the oldest reo in the country. He tūturu te takoto kupu, no tahu mā kāka nui matua tūturu tonu ngā mea katoa o roto i a mātau. No roto te awa, no roto tutura te matua, no roto moa I hapu. So we're lucky we've got all that, but we don't expect everyone to be able to do that. And so ngaro noa noa, I'm just beside myself. I'm beside myself every time you move. Same thing, he felt the same at those words. Numi numi kau noa ke hoki e. And I think about the times when I used to go in and out of how that feels. I used to go in and out of those feelings a lot, and it goes on a bit a bit later on about how there's a lot, lovers. These are lovers. He's so in love with you, so in love with this woman. It's just so well encapsulated in the words, and so that's what we really, our responsibility and our commitment is to make sure that the same happens within the music. See, and so and we should be doing that for every song. And so I'm just showing this as an example of one song that's what we have to do with our reggae as well. Even though, reggae is so well boxed up today that we don't realise that we have to do these things within reggae. We need to loosen up, stop being so conscious about our reggae music and play it. Do it. Anyhow, anyway. So long as it expresses the meaning of the song, the words, emphatically. Yeah, and this is a heartbreak song, and we're doing it. It sounds almost like a happy-go-lucky song, but it's not. It's actually a song with a feeling of absolute delight, and it's absolute. It takes you to the heights of delight. This song actually. Through its repetitiveness, the repetitiveness of its kupu, all those sorts of things take it to some great heights, and that's what it's meant to do, this particular song. So, kia waiho atu a hau tēnei kōrero ki konei, a kene pēr hoki mai anō a tērā wiki ki te whakahuki kau atu ki tēnei o ngā kaupapa whakatutuki ai. Hai a tērā wiki, kia inoi tātou. E taku ari ki atu a whakamoemiti ngā kōrero i ngā tūāhuatanga katoa I roto I tēnei rā I whakaritea nei e koe. Ka te tuki pai mai anua I roto I ngā kōrero I ngā kupu. Te takotoranga ki tēnei o ngā waiata I takoto tohungai, I takoto tautau hitoai. I roto I a mātau. Nā hau anō I whakaarahi atu ai. Nā hau anō I tautiaki ai. Whakamoemiti ki a koe, ki roto ki tōhu ingoa. Āmene.